Fellow musicologists, today's the day. Welcome to the channel. I'm Alex Tamulis. This is the 30th anniversary of Metallica's self-titled album. I wanted to do something different. I appreciate the viewers, and I thank you for your support. And please subscribe to the channel. That helps me a lot. So how can we cover this amazing album from a different perspective? I believe that we need to go back to 1991. We've got the power of hindsight. 30 years of analyses, delving into these great songs, songs that are culminating, Metallica's work. It's the epitome. Metallica decided to call this album Metallica. And it's a black cover with the Metallica logo, right? And that faded snake at the bottom. So, it's a message that they're trying to convey. They're just saying, okay, guys, it's been 10 years. We've been pioneers of thrash metal. We founded the genre, and we're taking this very genre and to never seen levels in society. So we have an album that culminates, that epitomizes what Metallica is all about, what Metallica wants to be seen as. The message is there, and the proof is the record. The proof is, the 12 songs. They represent Metallica at its peak, and we will understand why that is so, why these songs are so powerful in determining what Metallica is all about. And it's 1991. I'm only 9 years old. I'm not musically versed yet. I'm developing my musical vocabulary. But back then, the bands that I listened to were, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Faith No More, Guns N' Roses, Queen. So I thought I could use some help here. Today, the time has come for me to invite a very special guest to this channel. I am honored to introduce you to my heavy metal mentor, the man who has heavy metal for breakfast, thrash for lunch, and doom metal, sludge metal for dinner. This guy helps me, with all things new album. He's the music critic from Hades, from the Underworld. He has shared the boat with Charon, the god. He has seen the river Styx. So please welcome Deacon Stromsky. Deacon can enlighten us with vivid details on all things 1991, everything that went down in those times when Metallica conquered the world. So Deacon, the stage is yours. I'll let you take it away.
How are you, Alex?
I'm good, man. Thank you. It's great to have you here.
This is the day, Alex. Metallica's self-titled.
Yeah, it's also known as the Black Album. How was the music world in 1991?
Alex, 1991 is the year that, grunge became very popular. But I'm proud to say that heavy metal was still the dominant form of music for the year. The unbelievable wave that Nirvana's Nevermind brought along, the grunge tsunami, wasn't enough for people to topple the almighty Metallica 1991 from the top spot. It was still the most popular album, and on August 31st, it was number one on the Billboard 200, so it remained like that for many weeks until September 21st. That's pretty impressive for a band, if you were to ask me. One music video, Enter Sandman up to that moment, and then Guns N' Roses, they come in, they are number one for 2 weeks. So our boys in Metallica did a pretty impressive job with their reign. They are the kings of metal in the world.
And that was very interesting. But what was the first single, Deacon?
They released Enter Sandman as the lead single on July 29th, 2 weeks before the album came out.
Cool. So let's talk about it.
Enter Sandman was the first song they wrote for the album. It evolved from an idea that Kirk developed, and it was perfected by Lars and James, leading to the massive hit that it became.
Well, you have access to the underworld, so you're my bridge to the paranormal. What do the metal gods say about this song in terms of lyrical content?
I am not allowed to discuss paranormal matters here, buddy. Technically, it's complicated for me. You're gonna get me in trouble.
Well, today's a special day, Deacon. Come on, just try to share some info.
Darn it. All right. Let me concentrate and ask the goddess of memory, the goddess Mnemosyne, to help me out here. Hellraiser, please. The gods of metal. This song is conspicuous, since the boys had the instrumental ready for a long time, and James took forever to come up with vocal melodies and lyrics. He changed the themes from the lyrics a couple of times. He settled with that motif that's related to a very somber theme. He wanted a contrast of a powerful metal song with the very dark content of those words.
Cut to the chase, Deacon. What is it?
Okay, buddy, it is about a horrible scene, man. It's a secret of a family. It's about the destruction of this perfect family. Have you ever heard of SIDS?
No. What is it?
I told you it was scary stuff. It's related to the sudden infant death syndrome. Crib death, man.
I see.
The Sandman is kind of like the Grim Reaper.
The Sandman. I know a little bit about that. It's part of the folklore, like German, Scandinavian folklore. When children go to bed, the Sandman sprinkles magic dust and help them have dreams and everything.
Dreams or nightmares. In this case, the anticipation of the arrival.
Well, what do you mean?
It means I can see everything, and James had access to a specific film called The Sandman. This movie came out on May 1st. If you parallel the story to the lyrics, you're going to find it's uncannily fitting.
Is that so? Elaborate then, please. Do tell.
It's time for children to go to bed. A small boy is sent up to his room all alone with only a dim oil lamp, and he's going to guide his way. He trembles beneath his covers as squeaking floorboards and howling winds fill him with a sense of dread. Downstairs, you have a strange creature, and it creeps out from the shadows. It searches the room while it hears the sounds of the boy. It senses the child's fear. It's a wicked man throwing sand into his eyes. So the kid bleeds from his head, and the man takes his eyes, put them in a bag, and then the crescent moon, and it gives them to his own children.
Holy cow, man. That's creepy.
I told you, Alex, that's freaking creepy, but it's great material for a heavy rock song, right?
It sure is. And now it makes sense. He sings, "Say your prayers, little one. Don't forget, my son," to include everyone. Tuck you in, warm within, keep you free from sin till the Sandman, he comes.
Yeah.
And then he sings, exit light, enter night. So there's a contrast here between life, death, and take my hand, because we're off to Neverland, meaning we're gone, we're out of here, we're out of this world. Okay, so I understand the theme is heavy, and but how was it in terms of commercial success, being the lead single?
You kidding me? It freaking blew up. It got airplay like crazy. MTV Music Awards on September 5th. 3 weeks later, it had already
Cool.
reached gold status as a single, selling more than 500,000 copies.
Wow. Those are some impressive numbers. And it was also the first song that they mixed. They mixed that one. They developed a new guitar sound, the wall of sound, right?
Yes, and Lars recorded more than 50 takes. The final one is a combination of those edits. They wanted to capture the perfect energy for the final take.
That is some impressive work. So, you know, how was it received by the critics?
Very much so, Alex. And Sandman was highly acclaimed by critics. I remember that, the guy from All Music, Chris True. He declared it's one of Metallica's best moments. He loved that song's breakdown. He said it was brilliantly utilized like a bedtime prayer. And it adds, scary movie elements to a rock song. Steve Huey described it as one of the best songs with
Okay.
crushing, stripped-down grooves. Rolling Stone magazine described Enter Sandman as the first metal lullaby. The BBC, they called it psychodramatic, and they
Well.
noted that the motifs worked really well. Blender magazine said, the lyrics juxtapose childhood bedtime rituals and nightmarish imagery, and praised the thick bottom end and the propulsive riffs.
Okay, so it was a huge
Yes.
success. But after 30 years, I believe Metallica fans don't listen to this song as much as they used to, right? It's been played, I don't know, a gazillion times.
I agree, but today is not 2021.
Yeah.
We're in 1991. 1991, imagine that this is the first time that you're listening to the song.
Dude, I'd be amazed. I'd be blown away by the chorus. It's so catchy.
You see, that's what matters. When you look at it from that perspective, it is mind-blowing.
Well, it's been 30 years.
In my case, time is an illusion.
Really? Why?
There's no time in Hades. We don't go by these things.
Okay.
Maybe a story for some other time.
Sounds great. Sounds great, Deacon. What about the second single they released?
This one was a promo single. Do you know what that is?
Yep, it is a recording that is distributed usually for free to promote the album. It's sent to the radio stations, the television channels, etc.
You're right on the money, Alex. But still, this puppy has peaked at number 21 on the Billboard Singles Chart. This is absolutely amazing. It was released on August 29th. It features the Gadsden flag. Do you know what that is, Alex?
I do. The lyrics, they reference the quote, "Give me liberty or give me death." So to secure peace, you have to prepare for war. So that refers to the adage in Latin, si vis pacem para bellum. That means if you want peace, prepare for war. And the lyrics, they contain the rattlesnake imagery from, the album, and it's a quote by Benjamin Franklin suggesting that the rattlesnake is a good symbol for the American spirit.
Indeed, my Sith acolyte. But the tone of these lyrics are different than Injustice for All, right?
That is correct. People saw Metallica in 1988 as an anti-war band.
But James said the song was a reaction to the anti-establishment tone of Injustice for All. This is the other side of that. He wanted to tell everyone that America was a good place.
Right. Everyone thought it was pro-war, and they had thought that Metallica was anti-war. But James swears it is not a song about politics. It's more about like don't mess with us type of song, you know? And it's obviously referencing the flag and the snake, and it ties into the concept, and the snake icon is on the album cover, so it all made sense to them.
So this one was a promo single. Do you know which one was an official single right after Sandman?
I don't.
The Unforgiven.
Right. The power ballad. That's a good one. It was a huge success. The lyrics, they're very heavy-handed. It deals with the struggle of an individual against people that surround him.
It is about James's tumultuous childhood. His dad left when he was 13. He left a note about his departure, and that was all. James was really mad about that.
Justifiably so, eh? He was the breadwinner of the family. His mom had a real hard time as a single parent. They were having a hard time, just going by. 3 years later, his mom passed away, losing the battle of cancer. So after everything he had gone through, he decided to channel those thoughts into lyrics, into poetry. So the first verse is about James being born and learning the Christian Science rules and how pain would be part of his daily routine, since this is a world of sufferers, you know. He's blamed and he's punished, so he's the whipping boy, as the lyrics say. He's deprived of his thoughts since he needs to think like his parents. He needs to think like the church. He doesn't have a will. He's a puppet. He can't be himself. He can't show his true feelings. He needs to please his parents. So when he has the final say now as a lyricist, when he's thinking about the situation, he says that he cannot forgive them, right? In this case, them could be society. It's the imposition of those beliefs, you know, upon this young human being. He's tired of being labeled as, you know, this person who has no thoughts. He knows that faith hasn't helped the family. His dad left, his mom passed away, he felt he was lonely, and that is contemplated in the music video. It's about looking back and struggling with everything that comes your way. It's about how personal it got. And the inversions, you know, with the words, the way he places these words, the expressions, he's so talented. The guy has poetry in his heart.
That is a very nice way to put it, buddy. I agree with you. I agree with your analysis.
Thanks, Deacon. I actually have a question for you. I'm curious about how much it costs to buy the CD, to buy the self-titled in 1991.
It costs roughly $9 to $10 US to buy it in CD format. Some people went for a cassette. I believe that costs $6 to $8.
Okay, well, now let's look at track number 3. It's Holier Than Thou. What do you got for me?
Well, it has a great riff. It's fast-paced. In my opinion, it reminds me of some riff writing that Dave Mustaine and Hetfield did back then, you know, back in the early days. It has that classic old style of riff making that they've perfected.
Yeah, I agree. It's got certain patterns that also call my attention. And the words are pretty self-explanatory. It talks about arrogant people who are actually ignorant. They should look at themselves first. They should do that before they judge others. You know, these people, they worry more about what others think. They judge everyone and they think that everybody's beneath them, you know, with the status. They end up burning bridges. They bribe people for money, you know, they bring these people back to their lives. So it's pretty much this contrast, of how people see themselves. You know, they're just holier than thou. They're just above suspicion, and they're like gods. And these other people, you know, they're just, everybody else is a bunch of failures. and they're not on par with them. So it's kind of like the motto of the narcissist, eh?
You got that one right, my Sith acolyte.
Cool beans, Deacon. What was the third single of the album?
The third one was a power ballad, Nothing Else Matters. So it's a ballad, I will let you take it away.
Why's that?
I like all things metal and trash. I'm a product of new album.
Okay, that's no problem. I'm here to show you that music is much more than aggression, speed, catharsis. Actually, a cathartic moment can be linked to various emotions, including peaceful ones, the ones that we get when we listen to Nothing Else Matters.
Right, I am trying my best, Alex. All I know is that they've reached number 11 on the Billboard chart, and it's one of the most popular Metallica songs ever. Probably top 3. So the single came out on April 20th, 1992. But I'll let you take it away.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Deacon, this one was huge for Metallica, as you pointed out. James wrote the song in 1990. He was on tour, and he was just feeling bummed out about being away from home. He missed his girlfriend. He called her, and he held the phone with his left hand, and he was just playing the E minor arpeggio with open strings. So it's the easiest song intro ever to be learned on acoustic guitar. It is one of the few Metallica songs that Hetfield played the guitar solo. He played on the studio. He was the one who produced it. And it's the one from the Metallica repertoire that Kirk Hammett is not part of. He did not learn to play that song until they were well into the tour for the album. So the beautiful orchestral arrangements were written by Michael Kamen. They would collaborate as part of the S&M, the first one, right? I actually bought the unofficial CD back in 95, and it was called Ultra Rare Tracks, and it featured the elevator version of this song. It's loud strings, it's all acoustic. Bob Rock loved it back then, and the boys asked him to lower the volume of the orchestra. They didn't like it because, they thought it was just something unimaginable. And I believe that it's unimaginable without Michael Kamen's arrangement, I'm so glad that they kept it. It's low in the mix, but if you have the chance to check out the elevator version, and listen to it with headphones, just make sure you do it. It's beautiful. And that actually wraps up the fourth single. Sorry, that was the third one. So it leads us to the fourth one, Deacon. So that's Wherever I May Roam. Any good stories about this one?
6 months after Nothing Else Matters, they put out Wherever I May Roam. It peaked at number 82 on the charts. It was an okay single in terms of performance and the style of the song. So the song is notable for its unusual transformations, with the instruments, the Asian instruments, like the gong guitar, the sitar-like guitar, the overdub Warwick 12-string bass. This 12-string was the only thing that they used for the introduction there, to emphasize several accented notes that Jason normally played on a 4-string bass, but it was really cool. The effect of the recording, really successful. But then when they performed that live, the band has always relied on the original sitar, the recording for the intro, The lyrics, they're a mix between James' parents, he's free from his faith now. He's exploring the world with his own ideas and desires. It's also related to life on the road. You go to these places, you wander the earth, you grow as a person, you become wiser, you accept home away from home, but you're never alone. You're free to explore and roam. Your ties with the faith from the past were severed clean.
That is well put, Deacon. let me chime in and give you the info on the last single of the album, Sad But True. This album was a massive hit. The Black Album now, but self-titled back then. It spawned 5 singles and 1 promo. So it's pretty impressive.
You're right. And now we're already in 1993, in February. February the 8th.
Yeah, I mean, February 1993, it hit number 15 on the mainstream rock chart. The song is in D tuning, so it's 1 step lower, right? 1 whole tone lower than E standard. And since it's slower, it's got that groovy, thumpy, doomy vibe. And it talks about the duality of the soul, right? How we can be our ego, how we have versions of ourselves, and the other one is more like a judge. The other one is wilder. So, you have these versions that guide us. It's like the angel and the devil, and you're the angel and you're the devil. What about you, Deacon?
Hell no. What makes you say that?
Maybe you're the angel and I'm the devil.
Now, how come you're not the devil yourself?
It's sad to know that.
Maybe you're the devil and I'm the angel.
Damn it.
It is sad, but it is true. Look at the artwork, buddy.
Okay, let's check the artwork of the single. It's about the monster within us, the reflection. We see it, we know it is there. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. It's who's in control, who's the master, who's the puppet. James says it is his secret version, the lyrics, you have Secret James versus public persona James. Musically, it is Bob Rock there who wanted it in D tuning, since all songs were pretty much in E standard, pun intended. And he just wanted to change, and that actually benefited the song. It was the right move.
And we're out of singles.
Yep, it is. The last single, November of 1993, and we still have many songs to cover.
Through the Never is very philosophical. Have you had the chance to take a look at the lyrics to delve into it?
I agree. It's philosophical, and it talks about how puny, how small we are compared to the universe, the fact that we don't know other alien forms out there. We're here, stuck on Earth, and we have many, many questions, and we don't have many answers.
Well, you have questions. I've got answers for you.
You do?
But only when you pay me 2 coins, and you get to ride in the boat with me along the river Styx.
Thanks, Deacon. I don't want to go, on the boat ride. I prefer to be really far from it, actually. I love the questions. I stick to the questions then.
I thought he would.
Yes.
Just like James then.
The song is really fitting, and I like how it wonders and ponders about these big issues. It also shows how limited our perspectives are. The riff is tense, I believe it's got really that da-da-da-da-da-da. It gels really well with questions and answers. It's got that tension.
That is a good way to put it, buddy. By the way, have you noticed how similar the lyrics of Sad But True and of Wolf and Man are?
Not really. Please elaborate on it, Deacon.
We were talking about the reflection and the duality. Sad But True talks about that. It's the same on Wolf and Man. We're all feral animals, but we're also thinking creatures. We have basic needs, but we also need to reason about why we're here. We shapeshift. We're human flesh, but when we're philosophers, and then we're just animals. We're worried about hunger, anger. But James says, seek the wolf in thyself. Meaning it is important to keep in touch with your wild side, with your primal being.
That is very accurate. It's a very accurate reading. Deacon, but I believe you're biased since you have access to these supernatural ways. It's not fair, but it is what it is, right? I just noticed that many of these songs, they are really short. 4 minutes in average. This is quite the change if we compare it to Injustice for All.
Indeed. It's also a trade from Bob Rock. This is the album that they know they have many jams, many songs that are going to become classics. They're just conscious of song duration. That was on purpose. Besides, they're storytellers. They're here and they've perfected the format using their narratives in a concise manner so it is palatable, commercially viable to a wider audience. People who wouldn't be able to consume longer takes, intricate songs, prog metal-like arrangements. Hey, Alex, I digress. Let's look at track 10, The God That Failed. It is a song that was never released as a single, but was the first of the album to be heard by the public. It is one of Metallica's first original releases to be tuned half a step down, which would become the norm on Load and Reload.
I love that tune. The bass line in the beginning is killer. To me, that showed how conscious they were towards the bass and low frequencies, you know? It was a relief to know that the bass would be treated better in terms of the guitars, you know, the riffs are good. Kirk's solo is interesting. He stated that it's one of his favorite solos from the album, and it took him like dozens of tries of takes to record it and to perfect it. He and Bob Rock, they went back and forth. They were just thinking, oh, it cannot really sound too pretty. It's got to have some ugliness to it to gel with the whole atmosphere of the song.
Lyrically, I see parallels with Until It Sleeps from Load. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's about his mom's belief, the fact that Christian Science wasn't able to help his mom, his family. So you have these lines, I see faith in your eyes, I hear faith in your cries, and it's very heavy, full of emotions. When he writes these words, it's like Hemingway, when he says, when you write poetry, you need to bleed. It means you need to feel it. You know, it has to hurt you. The words are like vessels. They're containers for feelings.
I'm going to give you another parallel.
Please, go ahead.
What about the words on My Friend of Misery and Atlas Rise from Hardwired to Self-Destruct?
Oh, okay, yeah. That's an interesting one for sure. It's the myth of Atlas, right?
Yep, I know all about it, but I want to hear your thoughts on it.
All right, okay. So My Friend of Misery is all about Jason's bass line. You know, the first thing that you are exposed to, and then James develops this idea of other riffs, other melodies, I mean, vocals and everything on top. Lyrically, I believe it's about someone's superego, the wiser consciousness, the one in our mind that tries to help us find the best outcomes. And it's about that voice that's telling you, you know, you're wallowing in misery and sadness, and the world is much bigger than that, buddy. The world is better, so get your stuff together. You're carrying this burden, and you're carrying the world on your shoulders. You don't need that. It's like Atlas. Atlas is there, but you're just an empty can, and the suffering is all in your mind. Misery loves company, and it wants you near it. So you have to stop thinking negatively. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with misery feeding off your energy and being your company forever. And you're just going to scream and suffer, but no one will be there to support you. And so you need to get out of this bad spot.
Impressive, Alex. You have the gift, buddy.
Thank you, Deacon. I'm trying my best here.
We're almost there. Let's look at the last song, The Struggle Within. After this one, I'm off to Hades.
Well, say hi to Atlas for me, please.
Buddy, the dude's got the world on his shoulders. I can't stop the guy and just chit-chat, okay? Don't get your hopes up.
Okay, all right, sorry about that. So off to the last song, The Struggle Within.
I see a lot of parallels between Welcome Home Sanitarium, The Frayed Ends of Sanity, and this song.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll let you take it away.
Okay. It's straightforward. You stick to feelings that only hurt you. It's about paranoia. It's the ruin of negative thinking. You're bored. You're letting bad thoughts reach you. You feel the pressure. But again, it's all in your own mind. And you're creating the suffering inside you. The pain is psychosomatic. You're fighting your own brain. What do you think will be the result of this struggle with your own thoughts? Holy more negativity, unless you get out of this rut.
Absolutely, absolutely. And musically, it is amazing since, in my opinion, it's got the speed, it's got the riffs. It's kind of like a nod to Injustice for All or to Master of Puppets. And the album ends on a high note with nostalgic feelings.
Very much so. That's why it is the self-titled album. It's got elements of the past, the present, and the band's future. Looking at 30 years, you can still find all the elements that they've presented on this album. Everywhere else in their discography, it comprises the heart and soul of the band musically and lyrically. It is their most successful album in terms of popular reach. I don't think it's their best one, but it is their most effective one. If you had to present all decades in one album.
That's a good way to put it. And there's much more coming.
Indeed. On September 10th, they will release a massive compilation of covers.
Yeah.
53 artists
Wow.
covering these songs.
We look forward to that release.
Are you planning on releasing more videos on this theme?
Very much so. There's more in the near future.
Okay.
I want to record a special video for the Blacklist release on September 10th.
I will stay tuned for it.
Maybe I'll invite you, Deacon. You could participate.
Well, let's see how things go, right?
Sure, that's perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, and it was a blast.
I cherish these memories and this conversation. Thank you so much, Alex. Everyone, please subscribe to this channel. Help Alex with his mission and his passion for musicology.
I second that. Please like, share, subscribe. Music is what music does, and I'll see you in the next video.